Hello, 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 and welcome to the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host. Oh, I love this show so much because I get to meet some amazing, amazing coaches, mentors, educators, anybody that's lifting up the volume in somebody else's life to make them shine, to make them grow, to make them glow, to be that lighthouse for the world, as I always say. Because each and every one of us, I always say this, has a gift in us. We have that special gift, a unique gift that needs to just burst out and be out there. But sometimes, well, I'm not gonna say sometimes, all the time. You have somebody next to you, coach, somebody telling you, yes, you can do it. Let me give you some tips here. Let me help you over here. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't think because you need a coach that you have a problem. See, some people get that kind of tangled up like, well, I'm a problem child, so let me go get a coach. No, don't think of it like that. Think of it as you want to be the best you can be. So you bring in the troops, you bring in your army, you bring in your team. And that's what you do when you bring coaches and then mentors and educators. So never think that you're broken. Never think that. Something downloaded in me saying, I had to say to the audience, don't think that you are a broken soul, a broken person. You're not. We just all elevate and we help each other grow. That's what we do. We help each other grow, right? So I'm gonna get off my soapbox because this is not for me. This is to be selfish for somebody else that's coming on, my guest. And she's a queen. Yes, I have my queens coming back. I've been having kings and queens. And I'm like, this is royalty in the house. So Queen Lynda Leonce. She is amazing. She's going to light up your world today. I'm telling you. I always ask the person, what would you title this show if you were to do, title the show for your show? And she said, she might not even remember, but I'm going to read it. Living from alignment with oneself, being authentic, why putting yourself first is not selfish. Oh, see, she's talking my language. She's talking my language. And I don't know if I told her, but I'm telling her now because she's listening to the virtual green room. Be selfish, Queen, today. Be selfish on this show because I want you to be. I want you to expound on what you do for others. I want you to expound how you got to where you got to because it's very important because you're going to be reaching a lot of people that need to hear your voice. So, yes, I know I gave her a little charge. But you know what? She doesn't have no problem doing it because she's fierce. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and give us 60 seconds for this video, and then you'll be on with the wonderful, amazing Queen Lynda. We'll be right back. Ooh, we are back. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host. And we have this queen right next to me that we're going to be talking to, Queen Lynda Leonce. Hi, Queen. How are you doing today?
Hi, I love this way of making us feel like royalty, your guest. This is so fun. Good
Yes, and
to
you know
be
what?
here.
Just to
Yep,
see that smile on your face, I love it.
yep. I don't mind being called queen. I think I want to hear that more often.
Oh yeah, you know what? If you don't mind, I can put that in I can DM you every day on that if you want me to.
Why not?
I'll do it too. People will tell you, they said, Bari, okay, I'm a queen. Good. I want you to stay that way.
Yeah, I
Oh,
could get
yeah.
used to it.
Yeah, that's good. That
Mhm.
crown's always there. Sometimes we need to help straighten it, but it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Wow. So I know this is going to be so much fun because you are talking my language, Queen. You have been through, have taught so many people just to be their authentic self. to really get into themselves and don't be selfish. Don't think they're being selfish. And I love how you said that because a lot of times that's how we bring ourselves smaller is when we're not, bringing ourselves out there. So before we get into this, because I always like, I think of the Wizard of Oz. In the Wizard of Oz movie when, it was when they got to the Oz and he was doing all the trolls behind the scene and he had
Yeah.
this big old face, but then that little curtain, Toto pulled the curtain and said, "Oh, that's the real person." So I always like to uncover and ask my guests, what made you get you defining moment to get you where you are right now, Queen?
Yeah, good question. I'd say around my 20s, it started with the idea like I realized, okay, I was going to go to college. What was I going to do? What was my, what was I going to do with my life? And so I remember making the choice to choose what made financial sense, the smart thing. And so I went to a business school in New York City and I chose to go into IT because I had that logical mind. It made sense. I got the whole IT background in my mind. So I did that. And I remember choosing that over things that I was more curious about. So, like psychology, social
Mm,
psychology, anything about the inner world, I was drawn to, I was interested in naturally, but I didn't feel like I could do that and be financially successful, have a good paying job. And so I did what made sense to my mind as opposed to what I genuinely was passionate about. And so I enjoyed it. 20s and 30s were great. I really, I was good at the jobs I had. I had promotion after promotion. I was good at achieving what I set out to achieve. But on my lunch breaks, on my drive home, I would spend so many hours just listening to wisdom teachers like Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer. I listened to talks Oprah would have on her show with these different wisdom teachers, and it just lit me up when I heard things like, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're the awareness of it. And I just knew that was the truth for me. I wanted to live that way, but I didn't know how to make that my way of
mm,
life.
mm,
And so
mm,
I would say about 5 or 6 years ago is when I stepped out of the ordinary of what you're supposed to do. So 20s and 30s,
mm,
I did the smart thing, went to college, get the smart career, worked the corporate ladder. Then 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, well, this is something I'm really passionate about. Am I gonna step out of that box and try something new, something that I'm really excited to experience and significantly invest in it because it was a life and parenting certification. So it did cost money and it didn't guarantee that I wasn't trying to become a coach. I was doing it to honestly learn how to parent and coach myself. And so I did that. And through the whole experience, there was so much growth, so much transformation, so much clarity
mm,
that it just sparked this desire. I realized that it's the inner focus, it's the
mhm,
putting the attention on myself. And
mhm,
once I really got that and saw what was possible, the more I did that, then I kept going, right? I kept
mhm,
for the following 5 or 6 years doing that, and then realized, I'd say about 2 years ago, that what I learned, what worked for me, would be able to support other people. So that's when I knew, and that's how I started doing what I'm doing now, and basically why I'm here with you.
yes. See the journey. I always tell people the journey just sets the foundation for what you do now. And I loved how you basically, said to yourself, which we all do. You remind me of me and everybody else how we have that road, right? You get older, you go to school, you go to business school, you go to college. Okay, now you get a good job. Okay, now you got a good job. Now you stay there till that was the old kind of format for
Yeah,
all of us. So we were just kind of like in this zone of okay, we got to keep doing this, and you got to make money, and you got to happy sometime here and here, but and then you lose. You start to lose
mm,
what you really are on this earth for, and I'm so glad that those wake up calls come in our lives, like it did for you, and said, you know, I've been listening to these people on Oprah and everything like that. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and make the money, but it's
yeah,
bigger, something bigger that I really love and passion of it, right?
yeah,
So you let that, and then you said to the point. I like how you said, even because we got to make money, we got to live, right? We got to bring money, and I get that. I get that. But you didn't let that like disdain you to say, I'm still going to push the mark and do what I want to do and be what I want to be for others. So I want to give you so congratulations for that because I always tell people if everybody can do it, everybody be doing it, but everybody doesn't because they make different decisions or they just stay in their own zone. And you decide, no, I'm going outside that box. Going
Mm,
outside that box. So
yeah.
for you, good for you, lady. So
Mm,
now with that, I know you said you start off by kind of, just understanding and learning about the parenting and the conscious life and everything, but it turned into something much bigger. So when you say live from your truth, I love
yeah.
to say that. Can you get a little bit more detail on that? I love that.
On Live From Your Truth. Yeah. So the name for the business, and that's the name of the business, came from what feels like the what I really want for the people when I work with them. It's like it lights me up. It brings me joy to see someone finally stepping out of living from people pleasing, from
Mm,
obligation, from
mm,
expectation, from
yes.
all the ways they feel they should be doing things in life, to finally like living on their own terms, being real, saying yes when it's yes and no when it's no, not giving a F about anybody else and what they think. And so to me, that's the spark, that's the joy I feel in what I'm building. It's like I want to see more people like that around me, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like me. My every time I see somebody, and you can tell, like in their face, right, Queen, when they finally got somewhere. You two might have been working together with somebody, and then all of a sudden that light bulb just pops out, and you could just see it in their eyes and their whole face expression. And you in your mind, you're probably like, "Yes, they found it. They're finding their truth." Love it, love it. Yes.
Yep.
Now, when okay, this is a question I want to ask you because I know a lot of times we can say, "Yeah, be your authentic self. Be you. Live your truth. Live the life." But then other people, they have a hard time doing that. For one reason, they should come to you. So I'm just gonna put that out there. That's like a plug for come to the Queen. But what do you think might be? Give us some of like the triggers that kind of might stop them or slow them down from doing that.
Mm. Yeah, I would say in my own experience, what I saw was one of the biggest things was relationship. Like
Mm,
I saw the way that I was choosing to be inauthentic in terms of being in alignment with people and relationships that no longer worked for me. And when I saw, because I was working on myself so much, when I saw the nature of how I was doing things and
mm,
the the relationships I created, it took courage, right, to step away and to say this no longer works for me. And what I would say is the pain, the challenge of being in those environments, it naturally kind of forces you into like
mm,
wanting to shift it. And
mm,
if you're feeling like, I think a lot of people feel like, okay, I'm in a relationship that no longer works for me. What do I do? If you're asking the question, then you're probably, what I'm saying is, I think allow things to unfold
mm,
because you'll know the right moves when the right, but at the initially, I would say to
mm,
start to get curious. What is this
mm,
about? Why do I feel so unhappy?
mm,
Why am I not feeling the connection that I want in this
mm.
relationship?
Yeah.
What else can I be? What would a different dynamic look like? Just start to allow your mind to explore a different way. And yeah, I think naturally things start to
Mm,
shift because I feel like many people, they want to make a change, but they don't know. And
mm-hmm.
really don't have to try to make anything happen. It kind of just,
Just
the
turn on.
momentum builds and then things
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go through, whew,
But
and
the
then, woo.
awareness, yeah.
But you know what? I like how you said that, Queen, because it's almost like, you say to give people, you're giving people permission to
Hmm.
just be them,
Yeah.
without anybody saying nothing, without any kind of structure, without any kind of rules right now. Just be you. And a lot of us just need to really clap onto that and let it go. Like you mentioned about people pleasing. Oh my God, Queen. Ugh, just like what I think. it's been 7 years for me now. I was that person. I think I was in a dictionary with my face in the same people pleaser. That's how bad that was.
Mm.
Look
Yeah.
at the dictionary. You see Barbara J. Beckley's name. Ah, you know. Um, I said right with this picture because I seemed like everybody was like I was trying to help everybody else, and then in the background when I'm at home by myself, I wasn't being the Barbara Beckley I should be.
Mm.
And that's a sad situation. I tell people that is so sad because I never want anybody to feel that way, you know. And I know you won't. You don't want that either. That's why you pour your heart and soul into, live from your truth,
Mm.
and don't. And I think I'm going to ask this to you, Queen, because a lot of people sometimes get embarrassed, yeah,
Mm.
okay, or feel like they're little belittled or something like that if they start talking about their truth or they start talking about their reality or authentic self. So for that I want to ask you, Queen, what would you say to just our audience out there, how to kind of let that go or help them get to that point of not feeling that.
That's a great one. I would say it goes back to what I was talking about with relationships, like to really take a look and see how much can you really be yourself in the relationships you have right now. Like, can you really go there and talk like this with the person or the people you spend the most time with?
Mhm,
And why not? Why can't you share
mhm,
deeply if you really feel like it? Does
mhm,
that relationship bring out the best in you, you know? So that's one way we can start to examine that. And again, if you feel like it's not working for you or it just doesn't feel as aligned with who you are right now,
mhm.
really just keep focusing on you,
Yeah.
becoming more aware
Mhm,
of that disconnect and knowing what's going on within you, because the shifts will happen from you becoming more aware of your own inner world. So basically, you don't have to, in my experience, I don't feel like you have to go drop all your relationships that you feel aren't like that. Just allow things to happen by continually focusing on yourself.
yeah, I like that. I like that because I've been working a lot, Queen, on boundaries more and more for in my life. Because
Mhm.
I said I have my boundaries of in my business, and I have the boundaries, with my personal, and then I do a lot of ministry work and everything in my church. So, and then it's life. Well, that's life, but then it's life after that too. And sometimes the pressure or things can happen, and if I let go of some of the boundaries, that's when things get a little bit, to
Mm.
the point where the people pleaser thing tries to come back in my
Yeah.
life. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we dealt with this, Barbara. Why is this coming back? But
Mm.
it's just I think it comes from our hearts too, and I can see you have just a kind heart that you just want to help people and be there for them, and so they can be their true selves. But you also have to make sure that you're checking on yourself.
Mm. That's
Yeah,
so true. Yeah.
you know how they say you have to put on the mask for yourself before you put it on anybody else. A
Yeah.
long time ago, before that, I was kind of back and forth with that saying, but now I'm getting it. I understand it more.
Yeah. And it's in alignment with what I shared, the one liner that, it's not selfish to take care of yourself first. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to ask you, Queen. So if somebody signed up with you, I mean, because I can see a lot of people resonating with this and what you do, what would kind of like be, what they expect at the beginning when they
Mm.
work with you?
Yeah. It's very subjective. It's based on where the person's at, what they want to focus on, what area of life they find challenging. So, and it's based in moment to moment experience. So, right now, what's coming up? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling stuck? Where are you feeling limited? Where are you feeling like you don't have the freedom, the power to be yourself, to do the things that matter to you? And we
Mhm.
go from there, So it's unique to everyone and where they're at. And my role, the way I see it, is to just be a mirror to blind spots for them, things they might not be able to see, and just be allow them the opportunity to be more curious about what's going on with them. So it's like, well, is that true? Do you really feel like you can't do that? Why do you feel
Mm,
that way? So it's more of a opening them up to a different perspective that they're not able to see in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does, Queen, and
Yeah.
I love that. When you start, it's either when you're with yourself. Well, okay, I don't want to sound like I'm crazy, but when, I think everybody kind of does this. I'm not even gonna go there. When you're by yourself, sometimes you ask yourself in your mind, or you talk out loud and try to figure out things, right, in life. But it seems like when a person comes in and starts asking you those questions, like you just said, well, why do you feel that way, or why you don't feel like you're free in this area, or why do you feel like you're small when you go over here, or when you talk to this person? Then all of a sudden you start saying, "Oh, that was a good question. Thank
Yeah.
you, Queen Linda. That was a really good question. Thank you, Queen Linda. That was, and all of a sudden they start to piece some things, and then they get to the point of, you know what, Queen Linda, thank you for asking that question. Why am I in this relationship for 3 years and I'm not happy? Or maybe you're doing something that you don't like to do, but you're doing it for other reasons, and maybe there's something else you can do. So, like you said, throwing out those questions to your client really helps to, I think that opens up that view a little bit more better. What do you think?
Yeah, and the beauty is like they're the ones like they will lead you to the places where you can support them the most. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like those little breadcrumbs. I always say it's like they say something in your mind. You're while you're working with him, you're like, okay, now they said that, now I can ask them this question, or I can see what was going on over here. Yeah, yeah. It's like feeling your way. It's really feeling our way through what we need to do, and just say, okay, are we being our true selves? As it, like you said, it gets back to that. It gets back
Right.
to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this conversation. See, you are so needed right now. I think in this day and age, a lot of people are trying to, and I see this a lot on Facebook. And I love, hey, I use Facebook, I use social media. Hey, I put myself out there. But a lot of times it's like unbalanced, Queen. Sometimes it's more of, hey, look at da. But they're not showing that, how they got to that point. They went through some woo, it went through this and this. So when you're saying be your authentic self, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you feel like, because some people are like, well, I don't want to put all my business out there. How do you feel about just being open to both, really?
Yeah, I feel like showing being vulnerable, right? Essentially, to share the challenges we've been through that can support others. Definitely. I mean, how else will people know what's possible if you don't share where you've been and what you've been through and how you've overcome it, right?
Yes, yes,
But of course, there's a balance to what feels right for you to share and not share. So
yeah,
I wouldn't want to share all of it. The things that would benefit people for sure.
yeah. And that's it. I think right there, Queen, you just hit it. What's
Yeah.
going to benefit others? And like you said, if you share your story, you learn and grow from it. Then you give people hope. Because a lot of times when people see not the lopsided of it, and this is just my take on it,
Yeah.
that other people like, well, I can never do that. Look at how they're doing this and this and this. I can never. I want to do that, but then they need to show. Well, there was some low roads here. It wasn't just boom and I'm doing this. So I
Ah,
think when people share their story, then the person's thinking about doing it. Like, oh, okay. So they went through some things I went through. We're
yeah.
all human.
Yeah. And also things don't happen overnight, it's
Oh.
a journey. Yeah.
Oh, it's like bing, 1 minute, doop, and then no, no, we're not in the cinematic world. We're not, the movies. This is life. Yeah, they can just, boop, and there we go. But like you said, and I want to ask this too, Queen, by being on that journey in your life of figuring yourself out, truth, would you, you're going to?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying for, going on that journey in your life, the good and bad and ugly, if I say, well, I always say the good and bad and the learning. I hate to
Mhm.
say the ugly because
Mhm.
I know things can get ugly in life, but I always feel like you're forever learning through the process. So what do you think on that end too?
That we're always learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like that's the whole journey. It's
Mhm.
constantly getting curious, seeing the lessons,
Mhm.
and really having that perspective that it's all. I think the thing that shifted for me as well is really seeing that it's not like things are in my way, it's there for me to grow.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I'm not really like blocked by anything. It's an opportunity to see it in a different way and move.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You need to put that out there. That could be a book. Ooh, that was powerful. You
Mm.
don't look at things that are being a distraction. Mostly, you look at things to learn and grow. Ooh, I love that what you said. And if we I see, I think it's just a mindset. And I know you probably deal with a lot of your clients, regarding their mindset on things. And I think it's just a mindset of how we look at things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Good,
Mm.
good stuff. So I want to ask because I want to make sure you get some time on the screen alone to give any lasting thoughts. But what would be one golden nugget that you would leave regarding a person being their true selves? I mean, what kind of like if you was sitting down with somebody and giving them just one thing, what one thing would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say from what I shared, like my own experience, when I like to think of the analogy of a flashlight. And
Mm,
for most of my life, my flashlight, my focus was always on the outer doing. So my career, my children, my finances, my relationships. I was always like, well, how can I make things better here or here? And I'd focus on that. I'd work towards it. I'd get to where I wanted to be in terms of achieving things. And then the happiness or the satisfaction would last maybe a week or two. And then
mm,
I'd be on to the next thing. Like, okay, now I need to focus here. So it was always like, when I get there, then I'll be good. And then it was the next thing and then the next thing. What really landed for me was when I saw my flashlight and allowed it to focus 180 degrees. So I flipped it towards
mm,
myself,
mm,
really let it land that when I'm putting that as my primary focus, so my flashlight, my light, my focus is always on me first and what's going on within me, how I'm
mm,
seeing myself, the identity I'm believing I am, the beliefs, the way I feel, whether I feel stuck or whether I feel triggered in the moment. When I really let the flashlight put the focus on me, moment to moment, day by day, that's when things can really shift. And that's where I can step out of feeling like I'm stuck, feeling like I'm limited, feeling like I have to do things to please people.
mm,
But it really doesn't shift until we start putting the focus there first. And we
mm,
can still have the goals and still work towards things, but primarily it's the inner experience, if that makes sense.
mm. That makes a lot. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I always say to myself, because you see that we're on the same tone. I always tell people I look at myself in the mirror first before I even look or talk about anything else.
Yeah.
Because I always say, okay, Barbara, what can you do? What can you learn? What did you learn from that? What were you, how, this situation, you played a role in this, Barbara. I ask those questions before I even go outside anything else because you say you have to flash that light on you, that flashlight. I love that analogy. Oh, okay. So I gotta give you a little love on the screen alone. Any lasting thoughts, and we'll be right back. And I'll let everybody know how to contact this wonderful queen. I'll be
Mhm.
right back.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I'll say is being okay with and giving yourself permission to trust yourself. Really go with what feels right for you. I feel like I've had those moments throughout life where the knowing, like the inner world, psychology, like why do I feel this way? My thoughts, what's going on in my mind. There was always this curiosity. And I would say if I could tell my younger self, I would tell her, like, pay attention to that, trust that curiosity, that scent that you want to follow, if you think of yourself as a dog, and go with it, run with it. Don't discount it. Don't make it second to whatever you think you're supposed to be doing in life. Give that your primary focus. And I feel like that's the sweet spot for moving more into things that mean the most to us.
I just can't. That's like a drop the mic moment. There's nothing for me to say except thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation. And just let everybody know, let me put your website up again at the bottom. Please reach out to the Queen, to Lynda, because as you can see her heart. You see her general, she's so genuine, just talking to her right now. And I tell people, even being across, we're in different states or wherever, but look at how we can come together and really learn from and grow from each other. Please use technology in that format because it helps so much and you meet so many wonderful people. So with that said, Queen, you are family now, so you can come back anytime. Grace our presence. Tell us what you're doing, what's needed. I'm here to basically make sure that you spotlighted. So this has been great. I just want to remind the audience again, you are at the Coaches Lounge, which is truly Barbara J. Beckley. And this is where we spotlight experts for advice for life and in business to make sure that that inner uniqueness that you have, the gift that you have that you receive can grow. But always remember, have somebody always helping you do that. And it takes other people to do that as well. So with that said, we'll see you at the next Coaches Lounge. And again, always spotlight your uniqueness. People need that. Take care.